Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers with Leaf Spirits and Mai.
Hello, I'm Colin.
All right, I'm John.
All right.
All right, how are you both doing? Have you had snow your way? Been snowing here in Dunfermline the night?
It was snowing. I was doing it Meadowbank earlier there. It was snowing.
A wee dusting outside, but nothing serious. Enough to make you think, is it going to be slippy when I take the dog out for a walk? But no, really.
Nah. Does the dog like the snow, John?
Aye. I don't know. Does your dog like go a wee bit daft when they go out with the snow? Like the missus suggests that it's maybe like different smells or something that kind of sends him a bit loopy.
He does. He does. Right. Enough dog chat. Colin, your dog I feel like I've left you out. So just before we move on to football, does your dog like the snow?
I deliberately didn't answer because I thought we would want to get on with it. She, aye.
Right, that'll do. Sorry, I might just edit that whole bit out. Probably not. Right, Hibs lost last night to Celtic. It's 2 defeats in a week, but probably a very different reaction to the both performances. Saturday we've covered at length on Sunday when we recorded, so I'd rather not go back into that just in case anybody's starting to twitch at the memory of it. Get a bit of the PTSD and so on. Yesterday, much better performance. Colin, what was your take on the game?
I think the first half was great, but the second half performance was really good. Appeared to be more midfielders in there. Gave Joe Newell a different lease of life. Looked fairly threatening. Had a few opportunities. Kind of like we've been complaining about not having any shots on goal. I think we had more than Celtic last night. And it was just the second half was decent. Gave you a bit of hope, and then 2 penalties to lose it. Need to tell everybody. I was doing it at Meadowbank last night before the game, and I seen Nick Walsh in Costa with one of the assistants. So I thought I'll go over and be friendly in that. And I went, "Excuse me, guys," like that, and they were like, I think they looked up thinking, "Oh fuck's sake, I've got to get abuse." And I went, "Any chance you can have a penalty tonight?" And then they laughed. They went, "Oh, we need to ask the VARs and that." I was like, "Ah ha ha." I thought, well, that's my wee bit done relationship building. They'll be thinking, Hibs fans are good cunts, actually. They're all right. 5 minutes in, penalty for something I've never ever seen a penalty given before for. I'm like, fuck, wrong team here. I texted folk that I told saying, because one of the other dads that did the train, I definitely said a penalty for Hibs. Like, I didn't see it. Just fucking unbelievable.
So what you need to do next time you see them is, I ken which car's yours, I ken where you live. Penalty fucking Hibs. Right?
Threatening my sparky, because that's what works for Rangers and Celtic. And I'm there trying to do the opposite, thinking, no, be nice. No, nice doesn't work. They don't kind of react to that. You need to be a horrible bastard to them. And then they just give everything.
We're just kidding just before anybody gets triggered by it. We're not advocating properly.
Well, no, we're not going to say it, obviously, seriously on here. We might think it, we might do it, but we're not going to say it.
Let's take this offline.
We'll just try to make it clear that we're kidding on, right? And anything that you choose to do yourself is entirely up to you, right? It's not. It's not because we've said it.
Way. When you think the abuse they get for they two, and they just give them everything, and I try to do the opposite, and we get, come on, like it's a chance, eh?
At least you never got booked, so there's a positive, Ken. John, what were your takeaways for the game?
I was thinking about this today, and I feel a wee bit conflicted about it because when we spoke about the game on Saturday, and I was kind of banging the drum for keeping Montgomery in charge. I think seeing last night's game, I was gutted, like really, really sick when the penalty was awarded early doors, because like Colin says, I was trying to cast my mind back, like, when have I seen a penalty like that before? Like trying to avoid the conspiracy theory, try to tie it to something that I'd seen. Just cannot remember anything like it. I think the first half was all right. I don't remember. I think if I remember rightly, Cliff Pike had said something about Celtic no testing Marshall in the first half. Fairly even. Second half, I definitely thought that we were the better side. fuck, I'm trying to remember who it was that scored the equal. Oh, it was Levitt, wasn't
Levitt,
it? Aye.
yeah.
Aye.
And sorry, I'm getting to the
Fans'
point.
favourite, Dylan Levitt.
Fan favourite. I'm getting to the point as to why I'm conflicted. And I think it's probably unfair the reason why I feel conflicted. The reason I feel conflicted is because Hibs put in a performance against league champions.
Yep.
And last week we were absolute fucking drivel. So as much as I was like banging the drum, keep Montgomery in charge, blah blah blah, I've seen Hibs put in a performance like that against Celtic previously, against Rangers previously, but I've also seen them put in as bad a performance against the likes of St Mirren. And it goes back a little bit, I think, to that contradiction that you described a couple of weeks ago, and it's infuriating. And I don't know why it is, why I feel so infuriated all of a sudden. However, some of the reasons that we were better in the second half, I think, Colin, you touched on there with the increased bodies in midfield, and I know that that's going to be levelled as a criticism against Montgomery as to why you haven't played additional bodies in there before. What I'd maybe counter that with is that he needed the right bodies in there, and I thought what I saw from Mariah Welsh and Amos was a range of passing that brought into play Hibs wide players, including Boyle, who's come back into the side, having been away. So that gave me another bit of a lift again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it leads me to believe that there's potentially a good future ahead of us. And I know that's just that eternal optimist in me.
I know a bit of eternal optimism, John. I had to say I was delighted for Levitt when he scored. We've been critical of him, and actually Andy Allen, who's a friend of the podcast, he sits just behind me in the West Stand, and he'd come along at half time to tell me to leave Levitt alone. And we had like a wee bit of joke about it, and then but as soon as he scored, I can just lean back to look along the row, and it was Andy's getting a big thumbs up. So that was good, a nice wee moment, and it's one of those ones you kind of hope that sort of is the catalyst for Levitt now to kind of go get a wee, bit of confidence, a bit of a boost. And I think definitely, John, you picking out Mariah Welsh coming in, he made a big difference to that midfield. Do you think, Colin, that's what we've been missing?
Aye, I mean, I think the right hand side was a bit tighter, more secure as well, wasn't it? And then the midfield had more bodies in there. And as I say, I think it isn't just John's right about the right bodies, but it's also it gave Newell seemed to be a bit more up and down. He was getting forward, he was playing passes. You know what I mean? He wasn't just taking the ball off the defence and trying to move it forward. He was actually because that's what it looked like. It freed him up to be more like, if you're talking numbers, like an 8 up and down rather than sitting as a 6.
Aye,
which is a bit boring and shitey when you start talking about numbers like that. But you get what I mean, like he was moving about rather than being static. Made such a difference. And we're talking about there, Levitt. He might not be in the team now. Like after, sorry Andy, but he might not be in the team. I kenny scored a raker there, but if Amos and Mariah Welsh, that you're not dropping Joe Newell, are you? So I think it might be Levitt that falls out the team.
I think the big difference with Mariah Welsh and Amos is the ground that they cover. I think we spoke about it with Levitt before, and I'm not saying he doesn't move about the pitch, but doesn't he do it with the same intensity as we saw from for both of those guys?
I think you would probably describe Mariah Welsh and maybe to a lesser degree Amos as powerful runners. I don't think you'd describe Levitt as a powerful runner.
No, not at
I'm
all.
not even sure you describe Newell that way, but Newell's got a bit more, I think, physicality and a bit more athleticism about him than Levitt.
I'm going to just focus on a couple of the key points in the game, and then we'll get into talking points, because again, we've got a lot, and we didn't get through as many as we would have liked on Saturday after the game there, so I'll try and get through if I can't get through them all, we'll try in the little time we've got, we'll get through as much as we can. I think we'll cover everything that we would want to cover about the game anyway, but the two penalties, so you both sort of touched on it, the clash of heads. Triantis has gone up for the header, he's clattered into Alistair Johnson. It looked pretty innocuous at the time, I have to say. When the referee pointed to the spot, I was going, the fuck is that for? I think that was, I more or less worded it, I don't think quite exactly that, but on Twitter, and then you start to kind of get the responses back. It's split opinion though. Some people were like, definite penalties late, whereas other people were like, I could never seen that before. Two players going for the ball. Colin, where do you stand on it?
So my initial thought was that the penalty, like, because once the ball broke away for the head clash, somebody hit a shot, and I thought, oh, it must be a handball. Like, I never saw it, but I thought, well, I've hit a shot, and maybe it's smashed off somebody's arm. But then it appears to be for this head knock, and I think I've watched it back, and he is a wee bit late, but like that happens sometimes when you're going for a header in. He's maybe not looking at the ball though, and that might be what's went against him. But I mean, it's quite a good pick for the ref, like to give it if that's the case. I think it's. I've never seen it. I've never seen it before, and I'd be willing to bet I'll not see it again for a fucking long, long time. But I'll see plenty of head knocks.
Aye. John, what were you?
Same. I watched it on telly and I saw. Well, when I watched it, I think there was that moment sort of hesitation as to what's actually going on here, especially with the replays on the TV and whatnot. But Nick Walsh was quick and pointed to the spot. And as Colin said, like if he's as clear in his vision as to what Colin described about seeing that Trantis wasn't looking at the ball, for example, then you could make the argument, well, how the fuck did he not spot the knock on Boyle in the second half?
Yeah.
It's just, as I said at the start of the podcast, like I don't remember, can remember plenty of head knocks, I can remember plenty of players going down, holding their heads in the box, but I've never seen a penalty awarded to the best of my knowledge. It was
John, I
just...
don't even think I've seen a free kick given. Like they were saying, it's in the box for a penalty. I don't even think when you get a head knock in the midfield and the play gets stopped, it's just a bounce ball that way. You didn't get a free kick.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't really. I think I've ever seen it. I really can't think even getting a free kick for it. Never mind a penalty.
Yeah.
Did they book him?
No, I don't think so. But it's funny. Like if the two players go with their feet, and Johnson gets the ball first, and then Chanters comes and kicks him. Makes contact with his foot after, and he goes down. That's generally accepted as a foul and is given. But no, when it's a head knock.
No, and I get that, and that'll be the game they're playing with it and saying, well, that's the rules. And you think, well, you've never applied that rule ever before.
Yep.
It's bizarre, eh? Do you think we would have got it if it was another box?
No.
I
think we'll get it on the Saturday. I guarantee there'll be one happen soon, and we'll not get it, and we'll go, how did we not get that? And they'll make up some other fucking grey area of the rule.
Some other mitigation.
Aye.
I try and avoid the conspiracy theories, but that is exactly what it feels like, and I don't think some of the footage that we saw the other incidents in the game helps that. And I think, Matt, you'll probably end up coming on to it, just the selective use of VAR and what they look at and when they look at it.
But Lennon and that on the telly were adamant it was a red card and that as well. I don't know.
A red card?
Sorry, a penalty.
Aye. Well, the next one where you maybe would have wanted VAR to get involved was Boyle's booking. So a lovely touch for Boyle to flick the ball over the boy's head, which by the way, because of how the move ended, they talked about it, but it was fucking quality. At the time, I shouted penalty. I thought the boy had caught him. He gets booked for diving. I think Boyle points to the monitor as well to say go and have a look at it. And the referee just isn't interested. He doesn't go to have a look at it. The booking stands. The TV replays afterwards show the boy coming behind Boyle was caught him sort of at his knee and his sort of thigh area. Somebody explain to me how we've not got that.
I don't know. I really don't know. It's interesting the comments that Montgomery made after the game saying that Boyle's not a type of player to go down, and Montgomery's got the benefit of only having worked with Boyle for a few months now. Like we've seen Boyle go down. I think the irony about that booking is that there was contact, and like it definitely wasn't a dive.
Well, it was a dive though. That was the thing.
Well, sorry, and I think this is a problem about the interpretation of and how referees when referees award penalties, because there is contact.
Yeah.
There's an argument probably to make that Boyle's movement isn't reflective of the contact that he's received.
Yeah, that's it.
However,
come back to it, John. Sorry, carry on.
However, going back to the point that we made before, had the strips been reversed, there is a genuine feeling, and I think if you look, probably don't have to look too hard, you'll find examples of exactly that. Where there'll be minimal contact, where the movement hasn't been indicative of the contact, and the Celtic or Rangers players got the penalty. And that's the challenge that we face constantly.
I thought his dive, so he definitely got. There was contact, so he's entitled to go down and all that, right? If that's what we want to call it. It was the way that he chucked himself forward and his reputation that made the call. Because they went, well, it's Boyle. He's fucking chucked himself up in the air. He's dived again. That was the thought process.
See if you
That's why, didn't he? But then that's what VAR's meant to be for.
if you watch it back, and this is what I think I was seeing with it. Right, so it's his right leg that gets caught. His right foot is sort of coming from behind him to go forward to take the step. His toes hit the turf, and at that point they stop and he goes forward. And all he does is he puts his hands out to break his fall. So it looks kind of like the sort of the Superman dive, but actually, I don't care how else he could have fallen there, given that he's almost like sort of stubbed his toe in the turf. And I kind of inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt with it. And I thought it was a penalty. Right, we'll move on to the third one where VAR did get involved, which was Celtic's penalty right in the 90th minute. Was the 90th
There was a handball one as well, which I don't know if it went to VAR. You texted at the time, or message saying is it handball.
It looked like a handball live.
Because right in front of your end.
When I watched it back, so I couldn't tell if it hit the boy's face or if it hit his hand. It was.
But
that's one where that should have been a VAR for 2 or 3 minutes. When they go through it and they're going fucking
definitely.
Frame by frame, is it? And they've not done that.
Is it came off his foot? Is it bounced up off his leg? Is it handball? Is it offside before that? That should have been one of them ones. Is it again? Well, you're definitely right, and it was almost like they never bothered with that one.
Just like fuck it. So the potential there, and then Celtic's penalty. Again, there's contact on the line in the box, which counts as in. Have we got any arguments about that penalty?
My argument, no, I don't think so, right? Because he has caught him, but again, it's like, when do you ever get that? Like, the shot's been taken and then they get fouled. It's like somebody gets a header. I think did I read this? Somebody saying this? No, was I just talking about it? But you go for a header and you get the header away and the defender's pushing you. You've got the header away. You almost get the advantage in advance of the foul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I ever saw that either. Like, getting fouled after you've had the shot away.
Well, who was the team that we're playing against when Newell was at Kilmarnock? When he's trying to get a cross away and he gets clattered after getting the ball away.
On the touchline.
Yeah. Didn't they get the penalty for it?
I know. That's a good example of it. And that's when we were sitting here going on the Sunday. Do you think the ball was out to play? No, the ball wasn't out to play. I mean, we were going around thinking, trying to find a reason for it not being a check.
Why would they go and check it? Yeah.
And it was almost like that. You think he has caught him and he has fouled him, and it was just inside the fucking box. But it's like, when have you ever seen that? It's like they get decisions that nobody else gets, and that's what the frustration thing is, isn't it? It's like you could they'll be able to argue that that's the rules, mate. Tough fucking shit. Like if you were to say, if I seen Nick Walsh in the Costa tonight or whatever, you'd say, well, that's the rules, mate.
Aye.
But my argument back would be, but you never give them normally.
It reminded me, when we played Celtic last season and Stevenson gave away a penalty. He was sort of sliding into block what he thought was going to be a shot from McGregor, but they both missed the ball. And Celtic got the penalty for it. It was like sort of reminiscent of that. Like you see it all the time where players will dive in to kind of block something and fouls aren't given. And it was just so frustrating because I thought
you can't argue he caught him in that, and he did, and it was just inside the box, which is even fucking unluckier. Because then I'm going, is that right though? Is it not going to be inside the box? Can I make it? Because like if a throw-in's got to be fully out, why is on the line?
No, on the line counts for the for the box. Right, let's go to the talking points. The first one, the man from Leeds just says the ref is a toss pot. Fair dues.
DM2. We refer to him as Colin's coffee buddy from now on.
Aye, Colin's Costa buddy.
Carol thought he looked very, very handsome in that. Actually, he was like, "Oh, Ken." She was like, "He looks after he's selling that." Ken.
Could you got her to go and ask for the penalty then, Colin? That would seem the sensible thing to do.
She's too shy to do that.
We'll live and learn now. Next time. DM212 said, I've never seen a penalty given for a head clash in the box in 50 years of watching football. And I think it'll probably be another 50 years before you see it again.
Aye. We'll be shouting for it every week now, though. Every time there's a
I
head
will
knock.
be.
See, next time a St Johnstone player or whatever goes down to waste Ross County, down to waste time in the box for a head knock, I'll be shouting for a penalty.
Aye. And free kicks everywhere on the pitch where it happens as well. Like this is one that I will forever have a bee in my bonnet about now.
I know, you didn't get free kicks for it, though. That's what I'm saying.
Unfortunately.
I've only ever seen it once and it was a penalty. Fucking hell.
Ethan Smith said, how did Charters play tonight? Seen some mixed opinions. John, what did you think of Nectar's performance?
Well, to begin with, I thought that he was actually Dylan Levitt, so I don't know if I'm the best person to get the opinion from. For about the first 30 minutes, I was like, why is Levitt playing so deep and so wide? But it was actually
How is he so tall?
I don't know if
they look alike when they're playing. John, I made this. He gave the ball away. It might have been in the move to lead up to the Celtic penalty, but he just sort of passed it straight to. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, Levitt. And then I kind of dawned on me, and I was thinking, actually, Levitt's further forward, so who's played that pass? And then I figured it out. So you were not alone in that one.
Great, that's pleasing to hear. I thought it was because he had a bit of a stinker against St Mirren, and I thought with the first 5 minutes, I thought, oh fuck, here we go again. It's going to be another one of those performances. I'm going to be on Longbangers defending Nick Montgomery again. But actually, besides that first 5 minutes, I thought he was fine. Like, I don't remember him sticking out for any other reason other than me thinking that he was Dylan Levitt.
Fair enough. Colin, you happy with his performance?
I thought it was second half. He was better. It got knocked down for the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He was all right. I actually thought he'd done. I thought he'd done all right. I thought Fish struggled more than him at times. He got pushed off the ball a couple of times, and so I thought maybe a shaky start, but then he sort of settled into it. I thought he was all right.
Okay. Sean Taylor said, amazing what running around can do. A bit of bite and desire. It's not rocket science. Way to standoffish against the Old Firm usually, but that was 100 times better. Let's see if this is going to be the norm and or a fleeting performance. I think that's the key thing is like the players can't put that performance in the night and then go to Inverness and revert to type. That has to be that's the bar set now.
I think excuse me, I think the challenge is when you go up against I think we've had a good record against Celtic recently, and I wonder if the two styles of the teams are quite complementary in terms of like an open game. I don't think it's quite as open against Rangers. I think the challenge when we go up against whoever else it happens to be in the Premier League is can we play that expansive game against teams that are more likely to sit in? Are we going to find that complementary team? And I think that's the challenge that we've faced for a number of years now. And it's the enigma that we've yet to solve.
I think what you want to see though is the same intensity. So it doesn't necessarily be the same tactical style, but the work ethic that you put in. So if we give Inverness's players as little time as we give Celtic players on the ball, we should win the game because Inverness's players aren't as good as Celtic at coping with it.
That better not be the reverse, Jonah.
I know, it's no right, but do you know what I mean? Like that's the bit that they can control. So if the other team want to sit in and be difficult to beat, you still put that work rate and you still try to move the ball as quickly and work with that same intensity, and then you've got a better chance of winning the game. What we can't do is just go fanny about at the back and then lose the ball when we punt it forward and just rinse repeat, which we've been doing up till now.
That was just sort of to sound like a stuck record, but I think that's what Colin was getting at earlier with regards to Welsh and freeing up Newell and Levitt. Like there was a lot more movement through the midfield and it was less Newell collecting the ball for the back four and kind of like looking left or right to play a pass.
Agreed. Right, Crawford Bridge said Welsh was brilliant tonight, but so was Joe Newell. What a difference having Miller back at right back. Great to have him and Boyle playing for us again. Colin, you touched on that at the start of the episode. It definitely makes a big difference to the right hand side having Boyle and Miller there, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can argue that. It's a shame for Migwa, like being called back for 2 games or something, but it just looks more solid, and Cadden's still to come back as well.
Yeah, I think there's still an opportunity for Migwa to go. I think the Championship still have a window for.
I hope that's right.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Paul McQueenie said deserved something from the game. Everything we were in that second half, shape and personnel has to be the way we are going forward. We'll definitely pick up points playing like that. And Stephen Nicholson says 10 points behind Kelly. That's a
They've got a game in
worrying.
hand, though.
We have there was right. So not to be melodramatic, I started a thread on Monday or Tuesday on the private board on Hibsnet, just asking could we go down. Right, such was my frustration at the performance on Saturday, and a bit of conversation. Most folk were saying we're probably going to be all right, and then somebody said in 2014, after the same, I think it was the same number of games, or 15th of February, it was. We were 9 points ahead of Partick Thistle, who were in the playoff spot with a game in hand. And now we're 7 points ahead of Ross County, who have a game in hand on us. And then somebody followed up to say, like, the points total, the points we had at that point in the season, and I think we were maybe like 5 points or around about that figure better off in our relegation season than we are this season. Seeing that we're 10 points behind Killie, are you looking up the table or down the table?
Up.
I'm always looking up.
I mean, you're wee.
Just average height.
Average.
In a land of giants.
Just get that in. Right. Mark says it's hard to have pride with the way the club is being run at the moment. Going on a winning run now would help, though. I think we definitely did. Leah Paget said a draw would have been fair, but I really thought we were going to win. Gutted, but a massive improvement, and we should all take comfort from that. John, do you take comfort? I know you said you were feeling frustrated, but thinking about it, do you take some comfort from the performance?
Yeah, I think I described my is confliction a word? My feelings of confliction with regards to the performance. But I forget who it was that made the point. If we get that second half performance, that second half team, and we can apply them, and the players can apply themselves the way that you described, then that leads to positivity for the remaining games, and hopefully get away for that playoff spot that you were talking about.
Confliction sounds like a sort of wanky perfume, doesn't it? Or again, confliction for men.
By Calvin Klein.
I was writing my before we started recording. I was writing my Hibs Observer piece, and I wrote a foul on Kyogo by Joe Newell, and I thought, oh, Kyogo by Joe Newell, that sounds a bit like like an aftershave as well. John, were you going to say something there? Sorry, I could have just kept talking.
If it was probably a lot of shite because I can't remember.
Fair dues. Right. Christopher Bonnie, I've only got a couple of minutes left, so I'll try to rattle through a few. Christopher Bonnie said, honestly, great performance despite the result. Disagree with both penalties, so feel a bit bad for the laddies. The new formation worked a treat, but jury is still out if this was a fluke performance or not, though. Renewed hope that we'll progress in the cup. Now,
that's the concern. That's my confliction right there, because we've seen it. We talked about it earlier in the season with like European hangovers and Thursday Sundays and all that sort of stuff. A massive shot in the arm would come from a similar Hibs performance on Saturday.
Yeah.
do you think like, so? There were some stories in the press about a bit of a dressing room bust up and the training on Monday, a few home truths being told, etc. How much of the performance calling on Wednesday do you think was due to the change of shape, and how much do you think was the players going, right, we better get our act together, and a bit of a reaction to that bust up?
60-40.
Good.
What do you think?
I mean, it was 70-30, but
well, let's go 65-35.
aye,
Okay.
split it down the middle. 50-50, that is, John. Christopher Black says, I don't want to mention VAR. However, Mariah Welsh and Newell were outstanding. Levitt much better second half when he was pushed on. Also great to have Miller back, but fuck me, how did he miss? Much better. He had a great chance, John, didn't he?
Yeah, it was. Do you know what? I don't think I've seen so many shots for Hibs just go narrowly wide of the post in the same game. But yeah, it was a good run, and I think that's maybe something that we'd be missing from for right back while Miller's been away. Just that presence in the box, because no criticism of Whitaker or whatever. Like, he's still young, still learning the game. He's not quite as physically developed as Miller is. And I think we've talked about Miller for a while being like, he came to Hibs athletic but raw. He's still athletic, but he started to improve as a footballer as well.
I don't know if this is one of the talking points or if I've chopped somebody, but when we really started looking better was when we brought my leader on and Venti went off.
Aye.
I thought it changed the changed
How
how
have
we played.
we? How have we
Missed that
forgot to
out.
mention his overhead kick?
By the way, incredible, wasn't it? It was a good save, just about too close to
Not
the
enough
arc for him to
direction.
make the save, but it was
He
when the
came
ball.
straight on and he turned the defender right away. It was the first thing he done. You know, the defenders like they're grappling and he's just turned them and got away from him. He just instantly changed the forward line. Because Venti came off it was about an hour in. He looked fucked when he was coming off.
Aye. It's funny when you see a Hibs player go to their overhead kick. It's like it's either going to be brilliant or it's going to be horrendous. You just have to hope it's the first. Jason said, "Defo, wee Mariah Welsh looks the part. First name on the team sheet Saturday." John, if you're writing the team sheet, what position would you normally start with, and would it be Mariah Welsh? His name in it.
I think I'm old fashioned. I'd start with the goalkeeper, number one.
Yeah, that's just
Same
the way
here.
it works.
Gibby the Heavy says, "We only have ourselves to blame. You can't miss the chances we missed and expect to take anything when you're up against a Celtic side and the officials. Venti and Levitt aren't good enough, which was evident as the tempo and urgency went up a notch or two when they were subbed." Thoughts on that?
It did seem like that. It definitely did.
Crawford Bridge said, "Who'd have thunk 3 in the middle of the park was the way forward? Maybe every fucking supporter who watches our games. Brilliant performance from Hibs tonight, and as usual, Rob, the Boyle dives, but it's still a penalty. Very, very unlucky to lose that. And also, Johnson is offside when the free kick comes in for the first penalty. Does nobody check this shit?" So I think the offside doesn't count because it's the second phase, isn't it? Like there's a header, I think, from O'Neill certainly headers it kind of back out, and I think when that happens, he's no longer offside. WW says far better performance. Shows signs that Monty can adapt. Need to stick with the manager. No point binning him to be exactly where we are again in a season or so. Is that you, John? You're
That's my
tweeting us under
burner
a
account.
pseudonym.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. Chris Bell says no chance when you play against 12 men, unfortunately. Grant Porteous says good performance overall, showed some fight and desire. Levitt took his goal well, but apart from that, offered very little and gave away the ball too many times. Amazing what 3 in midfield gives you, though. Made it difficult for Celtic to break us down. Mariah Welsh was good. Soze47062 said team looked better and more suited playing on the front foot and direct as opposed to playing about our own 18-yard box. That's the way forward for me. The more direct approach, Colin, you a fan of that?
I was more a fan of last night's performance, second half performance. See the 3 in midfield thing. It's obviously correct and true this time, but we had people arguing, messaging in, saying that we weren't just playing a 4-4-2. So what was different then? Because it did appear to be a better midfield. Like I've been saying, we could do an extra body in there because it's 2 against 3 every week, and then there appears to be 3 actual recognised midfielders, and we put a better performance in. But some of the other folk that have been messaging in have been saying, "No, we are playing 4-2-3-1 or whatever the fuck it is."
Where does Marcondes come into that team?
Can he play it wide, or is he a central sort of player?
I think it's more central. Don't know enough about him to say whether he could play it wide, but
he would maybe be in the how Joe Newell played in the second half as the up and dooney, or out in the left maybe, or the right. I
that's
don't
a
think
sort
he
of
would play it wide.
I wouldn't mind, and I'm thinking about this for like a sort of management or leadership perspective. Like, would you swap Levitt to give him a bit of a break to get away from some of the shit that he's receiving and put Marcondes in there?
I think Levitt's maybe at the team already, yeah. It'll be Amos and Mariah Welsh with Newell, but then you'd be looking to see where does Mark Gundy's replacing there.
Yeah. So that's the sort of headache that you want as a manager, isn't it? Like if you're looking at presumably your best player and you're struggling to see where they fit in, then that's a good problem to have. Right, last minute of the episode, so I'm just going to rattle through, and if there's anything that jumps out you want to get involved with, just let me know. Hans said a very good performance. Now got to back up when the live TV cameras aren't in town. Callum R. Brown said great second half. Should have scored 3. More fight, desire, and passion. Stick with the 3 in the middle. Keep Moyes said 3 centre mids is the way forward. Finn said felt like a breath of fresh air watching that second half, but shame that penalty had to ruin it. Liam Hammond said, much improved from Saturday. Unlucky result, to be honest. 2 harsh penalties, but think moving forward, we stick with this formation, get a result on Saturday and remain focused. Callum Empson said, some pride restored, work rate and desire from the team vastly improved. Thought Mariah Welsh was very good and brings some energy and bite to the midfield and confident on the ball. Miller and Boyle being back made a difference up the right. More of the same until the end of the season. Greg Thompson said, hugely improved. Midfield 3 suits us much better and the players wanted it more. Thought Levitt gave possession away far too much and probably the weak link. Fair play to him for the goal. And last one, because that's us out of time, is from Ryan. Says, much more fight with the usual inevitable outcome. Pride can only be restored when we win a few games and climb the league. A few decent individual performances in there too. Hopefully the end of 2 in the middle. So we're out of time for this episode. However, if you're a subscriber, don't switch your podcast player off. You'll notice that your episode still has some time to play. That is because we're going to cover this week's Week at Hibs, the news stories. So if you're not a subscriber, you get these episodes a week behind. So you can stop this one, and when you start your next episode, you'll have last week's Week at Hibs, in which, John, do you remember what we covered?
I'm not sure what you just said, to be
Brilliant.
honest.
Brilliant. What did we cover in last week's Week at Hibs?
Sorry, I got confused with your timeline because where we are and when it goes out and all that
Like Back
sort
to
of
the
stuff.
Future,
Aye.
Last week it was about, we were talking about Montgomery and can he turn it around? Is that right?
Nah, that was Extra Time. Also subscriber
Extra Time?
exclusive. Aye. But by the way, I think our only one game in, so we can't really judge it. But we suggested that the new players would help turn it around, and also the return of Boyle and Miller would make a difference. And yesterday would appear to show there was some justification in what we said, John. No, Week at Hibs, we picked 3 news stories for the Week at Hibs, and then we discuss them. Subscribers get it on a Friday morning, / Thursday night. Non-subscribers get it the following week. Right? If you want that, you can get it either at our Patreon, or you can go to YouTube and actually become a YouTube member now as well, and you get the content there. Also ad-free. So we did get a wee comment say there's adverts in our videos now, apparently. And if you want them ad-free, you can be a member, $2.99 a month, and then you can watch it without ads. Right. Thanks for listening. If you're going now, we'll see you next time. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.